Hey guys, we are Jake and Becky with the channel White House on the Hill. And today we wanted to talk about the effect or the impact that homesteading has on our kids.
And since our kids are small and we're new to this homesteading thing, we thought we'd have a discussion with Red Tool House to help us out.
So let's send it to them.
Hello everybody, we're Red Tool House Homestead. This is my wife Kelly.
Hello.
The boys Liam and Cameron.
Hello.
I'm Troy. And we appreciate Jake and Becky from White House on the Hill for inviting us to drop in on their channel. Just a quick background on who we are. We are a homestead in the southern Appalachian Mountains of West Virginia. We're on about 100 acres and we have pigs and chickens and a variety of other endeavors we're trying to do.
We've been on this land for about 17 years, but only within the past 7 years have we begun to homestead.
Well, as we sit here in the barn rendering maple sap, we got to thinking about what Jake and Becky asked us about how we get our boys involved in homesteading. How do we keep them engaged? They have the two younger boys, and our boys are 16 and 12.
And I think that that can be a challenge over the years, but you know, we've tried to just make it as exciting as we can for them, so it's not just chores. But yeah, we've had a few challenges. Yeah, and if you look at it, chores, the way we break things down, we don't do allowance, so our boys don't get money for being who they are. They don't get allowance, but chores are kind of broken into two categories. If you want 3 hots and a cot, here's a list of stuff that you have to do. If you go above and beyond with other list of farm chores, then you can get compensated for that. And there is an opt-out there. Some stuff they can choose not to do. If they don't, hey, I don't want to do that for the money, then okay, you still have other things you have to do. Well, the basics in our home for the kids are, making your bed, emptying the dishwasher, feeding the house pets, those types of things. Yeah,
so as they got older, when they were younger, of course, there were things that they could do, like get the eggs, but that was usually we were accompanying them. So we had chickens. At that time, we had chickens actually in our backyard in a smaller coop. So obviously you'd walk out with the kids, you'd show them how to get the eggs, you'd show them how to interact with the chickens, not to be afraid of the chickens. So supervised chores in that situation. As they got older, of course, then you could hand out more responsibility. So now our 16-year-old, his daily responsibility is get the eggs, but that isn't just grab a basket and walk to the backyard. Now that's grab a basket and he chooses to walk. The way our homestead is laid out, there's a lot of elevation change, so he has to walk down into the valley to the chicken coop, get the eggs, and bring them back up. That's a daily chore that he does, and of course that's required. He doesn't get compensated for that. Our other child is responsible for taking care of all the household pets as far as their water goes, their food goes, letting us know when we're getting low on food so we'll know to purchase more. So just those responsibilities there have been stepped up as they've gotten older. Now, another chore that they have to do that they grimace, it's a seasonal chore that is a requirement, is firewood. We put up firewood in the fall and through the winter actually. Our winters are mild enough that we can still put up firewood in the winter. But when it's time to split firewood and bring it in, then they have to be a part of that. And what's cool, as they've gotten older, it used to be, okay, you boys try to pick up this piece of split wood and put it in the back of the side-by-side or put it in the trailer or whatever. And now it's to the point, I'm almost to the point where it's a fully automated firewood system. Other than running the chainsaw, they're starting to split. They can load it into the side-by-side, bring it down to the house and stack it on the back porch where we have access to it. So once they get to the point of running chainsaw, then I have automatic firewood processing.
Which hopefully will be a bit longer.
That's right. Yeah, that 16-year-old, he's going to split in 2 years.
Oh, I'm not ready for the chainsaw.
So yeah, chainsaw, that definitely has to show some more experience in other places before we turn him loose with a chainsaw.
So our boys are a little younger. Eli is 5 and Uriah is 2, and we take them along with us to show them the responsibilities that we have on the farm, to help them learn some lessons along the way.
The kids like to help us with our chores. In the morning, they like to go out and help us feed the chickens, let them out, feed the cats. Later in the day, they like to help collect the eggs. And Eli is even old enough that where he can help us process the chickens.
And with our first garden last year, the boys were even helping Becky with planting the vegetables and watering the garden and each other.
Go get them.
And their favorite part was in harvesting the vegetables.
They usually didn't even get the vegetables in the house before they got them ate.
So Troy and Kelly, how do you keep your children engaged on the farm?
Well, as far as keeping them engaged on the homestead, we try to incorporate things that are fun. Chores are chores. It's work no matter what. We try to have a certain element of things that are fun, and I think the boys loved animals. So when they were younger, we had chickens, so making sure they got to interact with the baby chicks.
Such a great experience from the very beginning, because we got them as babies and got to watch them grow up, and we didn't have as many as we have now, and it was, like I said, a new experience to them, so it was pretty exciting for them when they were young.
And obviously when we got our pigs, when we farrowed our first piglets here on the farm, the boys got to sit with the piglets and play with them. I mean, they spent hours down here, didn't they?
Yeah. It was our daily adventure. We couldn't wait until that time of the day where we could come down and just spend time with the piglets. They were so much fun from the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the beauty. Again, with homeschooling, we had the freedom to do that. And from a biological point of view, then it was very educational to come down during farrowing and say, hey, here's life being born right here. So that was, it was a good experience. So both boys have an affinity for animals. They love animals. They do understand and appreciate the fact that we eat most of these animals, and that still keeps them engaged. But we've educated them from that going forward. Now, as far as work for money opportunities, as they've gotten older, there's definitely more of those opportunities that came along. So we've talked about chores that they have to do, but when it came time to do some extra things for spending money, then that's where we kind of stretched the boundaries of what they're able to do or capable to do, and made sure they learned some new skills. Behind our house, we have this hillside that's still kind of bare, where when we built the house, we had that land excavated, had to make this flat spot. And as these pioneering plants were coming in there to grow back up, obviously around here, locust takes over everything, the thorny locust trees. And I didn't like having, I love locusts for fence posts and everything, but I didn't like having all those scrubby locusts that close to the house when the kids were younger.
Basically in the yard.
Yeah, they just, those crazy thorns. So Liam, the oldest, I think he was maybe 12 or 13 at the time. I told him, I said, I will pay you, and I remember it was pretty substantial, maybe been $50 or something like that, to go out there. He could work on it at his own leisure in the summertime and cut all of those saplings down. In that situation, I didn't give him a chainsaw, of course. I gave him one of those nice, brand new folding pruning saws. So still sharp, still something he has to make sure he doesn't run across his hand or slice his finger open or dig into his leg, but taught him the responsibility of how to go out there and cut these saplings down, and he cut every single one of them down.
Great job.
And it's just one of those things, you can kind of see the character building come from those type of situations. This spring, when our chicken pastures grew up, they grew a lot of this scrub plants, kind of sagebrush type stuff. So I sharpened some hand scythes for them and turned them loose in there. So guys, get in there and hand scythe every bit of this out. Take all that and throw it over the hill, and paid them for that as well. So they had the ability to do that at their own pace, and so it was really neat for them to see their work schedule. My oldest, he's the type that likes to get up and get stuff done in the morning, so he got up, went down, worked in the pasture to do the scything, and the youngest was a little less reluctant to get started that early.
So the best part of having a homestead is getting to share the experience with our children.
They get to see eggs hatch and experience new life.
They get to hold baby chicks when they're just a day or two old.
They get to see where their food comes from. They plant a seed, they get to see that seed grow until a harvest.
So our last question is, what are the benefits of your children working hard and helping along with the chores?
So what are the benefits that came out of these chores as we assigned them?
Well, it's been an experience for them. I mean, they've learned hard work. They've learned to, to prioritize that work to be able to make money. Whether it was important to them, like you said, Liam was out there first thing in the morning. He wanted to get it done and earn the money. Cameron was like, okay, I'll do a little bit later. But no, I think they've been great experiences for the kids. Hard work is good.
Yeah, and you look at the practical examples. So now, just this year, both boys helped me put siding on the barn. So both of them ran a miter saw, chop saw there, hammering nails, those type of things. So learning just basic carpentry skills. My youngest, he likes using the side-by-side all the time. So he knows how to drive. Both of them do. My 16-year-old, of course, does. But here we've got a 12-year-old that I trust with driving a side-by-side. He does it responsibly. He wears his seat belt. He doesn't drive like an idiot. And of course, he knows how to drive. Knows brake, knows gas, knows how to keep it on the road, all that type of thing. So here's a 12-year-old that's a couple years ahead of experience in driving a motor vehicle. But even in Camlin being 12, he's wanted to now have his own farm animals to take care of. So he has chickens, and we've documented his chickens on our channel, and he takes care. That's his responsibility to come down every day and feed them, provide them water, make sure there's hay in their nesting boxes, and collect their eggs. He isn't quite able to move the chicken tractor just yet without running over them, so I still help him do that. But that's fully his responsibility. So he gets to sell those eggs. He makes the money from them, but he also has to buy the feed. Yeah. So that teaches him great lesson in economics, that you're not going to get rich selling chicken eggs, but you can at least make some extra spending cash. Well, one chore that we had for the boys that they would get paid for was simply going down at night and closing up the chicken coop. And again, the way our homestead's laid out, that's not just simply walking out in the backyard. It's a pretty good hike down into the valley and then around the corner into the back meadow there where the chicken coop was. And you had to close the coop up at night. Well, in the mornings when I go do chores, of course, I would open it up. So all they had to do was close it. And we asked them to do that together. It was after dark, and again, you just wanted two boys to go down there by themselves. And we paid them weekly for that. So if they did that every night, then on Friday they would get a paycheck of, it was $5, I believe. We're cheap, it seems like. So we paid them $5, and it was kind of cool because Friday they'd both be there with their hands out. Okay, it's ready for payday, Dad. We've done this. And what's interesting,
technological advances here at the farm have kicked them out of a job.
Exactly. We put our automated chicken door in, and this was a great example of how technological advances are changing blue-collar work in the United States. So this was a social studies experiment. So yeah, the boys lost their job because we put an automated chicken door in. And it's interesting, they still joke about it, we laugh about it, but it was a real world experience, obviously. So it's one of those things where we just keep trying to find other things for them to be engaged in. The fact that they're home every day being homeschooled, weekends, it's not every Saturday they have to go out and work. I want my boys to have a balance. I don't want them to be like, as soon as I turn 18, I'm out of here and I never want to see this place again because I worked my butt off. Dad would work me to death. So we want that balance of recreation and fun. We try to have fun here as well.
We also let them know that the money that we make on the farm helps fund some of the fun things that we get to do together. So Jake and Becky, I know that your kids are much younger than ours right now, and my advice would be at this point is just to involve them in all of your daily activities so they can learn right along with you, and as they grow, you can just begin to hand over some of these responsibilities to them, whether they be for their daily chores or for to earn a little money to buy the toy they want to buy or whatever they might have. So, I mean, if they have that, if they're familiar with that as that's just how things are done around here, then that's just what they'll know, and it won't be something that they dread having to do every day, I don't think.
Well, we appreciate Jake and Becky allowing us to come visit White House on the Hill, albeit digitally. If you haven't subscribed to White House on the Hill, be sure to do so. Give them a thumbs up on their videos so they can be seen by more people, and give them comments. And again, we appreciate you all letting us come along. If you want, check out Red Tool House. You can find us on Facebook as well, Red Tool House Farm.
So thank you to Troy and Kelly for sharing with us and our viewers today. We really appreciate it.
And if you're not a subscriber to Red Tool House, click on the link right here.
And we made a video on their channel. We hope you'll check it out, talking about our future homestead plans. Click right here. We'll see you next time, guys.